starting to wonder, Sean, if maybe the football spreadsheet, my accountant spreadsheets, are starting to round into form. I was right about Christian McCaffrey getting injured. That guy does get hurt. But the thing is with and Hammy, you know, I don't know why. Some guys have a propensity to get hurt more than others. I don't know. Maybe I'm not going to throw anything out there, but maybe they hang around Bob Bradford's barn. I don't know.
Well, also he's a small running back that gets a lot of touches, so it you know, you take those chances.
The hammy. He's got a hammy. Anyway, I was talking about how maybe the football things are starting to come into line. I mean, NFL has been on target all year long. I missed on the over yesterday, but as I mentioned, it was not enough to actually play the over in that game. But it did say Carolina would win. Carolina won, and it was right on that 8 number to the very end. I was thinking it would be kind of interesting if they landed right in the middle, and we talked about it. But Middle Tennessee versus Appalachian State versus Marshall. I guess that had an ugly ending. I didn't see it, but it said that Appalachian State would win by 1. That was probably a gift on the part of App State because they could have scored at the end of the game, I think, if they wanted to.
Thankfully, they didn't.
Thankfully, they did. I mean, they were on, first and goal at the 4-yard line, and they didn't score.
No, they just took a knee. So
yes, so I don't see why Marshall would be upset about that if they took a knee. I mean, if they went and score, maybe, yeah. But I also said that game would go over, and it did go over. So that's what the Excel sheet said. Maybe the data's starting to come in. And then baseball, on the other hand, I've decided I think I've started personally a hot streak for the Minnesota Twins.
Maybe.
Yes, you know, I'm responsible for it. If I could only I speak it into the universe in reverse.
Yeah. Yeah, so you say about baseball, you know, there's 4 college games today. I love them way more than I love any baseball game today. It's just right, I guess
actually like 2 baseball games today. I'm not going to do any parlays today. I have a plus line in a game that's probably going to be surprising to some people. And then I also have, I think, a home team that should beat another team pretty easily tonight. There's the E word. I just screwed that pick up. I'm going to take that one out. Braves let you down. Yeah, I mean, the Braves can throw games out there like that. That's Sean's team. That's all you need to know about the Braves.
Well, it's just, you know, the thing with baseball, too, I mean, you got the Yankees, Boston, and Blue Jays fighting it out. But besides that, and the Dodgers and Padres. But that doesn't, or not Dodgers.
Padres. What the hell are you talking about? Padres.
Padres are just.
Have you been to Colorado, or do they just legalize that stuff in PA? What's going on?
No, Dodgers and Giants. Those are the only races. I mean, everybody else is just sleepwalking. I feel like it's just, it feels like you're still in the middle of the season.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're going to wind up. I can't wait till I don't have to handicap 32 baseball games a day. It's down to like 4 because you go through all of them. Then you got to check at the pitching matchups. Then you got to look at the advanced metrics for the offenses and the defense and how pitchers pitched at particular ballparks, how they've done against particular teams, yada, yada, yada. I mean, and then all of it blows up anyway because pitcher gets a little, he gets a little bit of McCaffrey. You got a little twinge in the hammy. Comes off the mound, and it's back to that undecided pitcher nobody knows about. So you mentioned NCAA football, Sean. I guess that's where we'll start tonight. We'll start with the college kids playing football. Middle Tennessee versus Charlotte. Middle Tennessee State getting 3 points on the road. You say you love college football. I got a sense this is probably one of them that you like, Sean.
I actually like all 4, and I'll make official plays on all 4 of these games. And I've liked them from the beginning of the week. This line's too low. Charlotte's not bad, especially at home. They'll control the clock. They don't play too bad defensively. Middle Tennessee's struggled to score points. They're changing quarterbacks. Who knows if that will help or not. But Charlotte to win by a field goal, I think they should be able to do that. I'm not going to use any bad words there. I almost did. But I will take Charlotte giving up 2.5.
According to the bettors, 2/3 of them agree with you, Sean. So you're thinking like the masses. However, the money is strongly taking the 3 points against Charlotte. And guess what? So is Rich. So we're on the opposite sides of things. I'm putting 20 on Middle Tennessee State. To win or
+3? I'm
getting +3.
Okay.
You're -3, so I'm getting 3. You're losing 3. I'm getting -110. You're getting -105. I I'm pretty close. I mean, to me, I don't like to do this in football, and this worked out for me on the weekend. We talked about this with Sean on Sunday with the NFL. I said, why would you give up the points if you're in Minnesota? I know getting that big plus line, but a win is better than a loss. In football, I'll take the points almost always, unless I get a huge differential between my projected score and what happens. I'm going to take the points here, but I feel like Middle Tennessee will keep this game close and have a chance to win at the end.
Yeah, see, I don't know. And my thought on that is if I like Middle Tennessee and they were getting 3.5, I would take them because they could lose by a field goal. But getting 3, you're just in a tie if you lose by a field goal. So I would just take them to win. But
a tie, you get your money back. A loss, you lose your money.
You do, but then
that's just like third grade math.
Risk and reward. You get the plus line if you take Middle Tennessee to win. Charlotte beat Duke, who is not bad this year at all at home. So
I thought we went through that yesterday. Those SAT questions.
Yeah.
Team A beat Team B, so Team B, Team beat C. So for A beat C, something like that. That doesn't really work like that.
No, it doesn't. But Charlotte is just overall a better team. And like I said, Middle Tennessee's had problems with the quarterbacks. Now they switched quarterbacks here. Maybe they find something, but I trust Charlotte a lot more.
Anything for the total in that game for you, Sean? The line in that game is and the line is 56.
Yeah, I'm not going to play that officially, but I would go under. Like I said, Middle Tennessee struggled. Charlotte's a ball-controlled offense, so they're going to, take time. I would think this would be under.
Yeah, I have it going under as well. So I have the two teams combining for about 50 points. The game might be going under by a touchdown. Was Brown and Harvard one of the games that you loved?
No, that's one I'm skipping.
Okay.
That's the
Wake Forest and Virginia. This should be an interesting game tonight in the ACC, right?
Yep.
Wake Forest is getting 3.5 points on the road with the kind of high total of 70 points, Sean.
Yeah, so
it's actually up to 70.5.
Virginia
has 68.5.
Virginia has a really good quarterback, really good offense, but their defense is horrible. This is the underdog tonight. That if there's going to be an underdog to win, it's going to be Wake Forest. I will take, if I'm getting 3.5, I'll take the 3.5 with Wake Forest. I would only see them. This is the perfect scenario that if they do lose, they'll lose by a field goal. But honestly, I think they're going to win. This
you can get 4 points too. So why don't you just take the 4 if at minus 110?
I will take that. I also think the total. If you're going to take a side, I would take the over. Like I said, Virginia just puts up a ton of points and they give up a ton of points.
Well, Virginia hasn't played a defense yet, Sean. They've basically gone out 7-on-7 drills. So they haven't faced anybody with a defense yet. Wake Forest actually has a defense. I think Virginia could probably win this game by about 7 points. So that 4 might not be enough for you. But I don't think they're going to come close to that over because Wake Forest defense is actually a defense. And as I said, Virginia hasn't played anybody. And 70 points, Sean, that's actually, I can get as high as I think 70.5. So I'm going to take 70.5 and go the under. And that is minus 108, Sean. At 70 points, you just need one bad quarter, one missed field goal, one long drive without points. And it's really tough to get to that 70 points. I just hope that they don't go to overtime.
Yeah, and that's a possibility with this game. These teams are going to be pretty evenly matched. So,
Wake Forest is taking in about 60% of the money. Most people are on your side, Sean. They're taking the points in terms of the money and the tickets. And the game, most of the bets are, in terms of the total, are leaning towards the under, it looks like to me.
And what you were saying there about Virginia hasn't played a defense, Wake Forest hasn't played an offense neither. So I think it kind of evens out. Wake Forest's defense probably not as good as they look, and Virginia's offense isn't as great as it's looked, but it will even out. They're still both good.
Well, to way I look at it like this, Sean, 70 points, regardless of who's playing, that's almost, you think about 70 points, that's 10 touchdowns. That means you got to have the score's got to be 35-35 in both halves. And if one team gets ahead, they start to try to kill the clock in the second half of the game. Particularly in the, once the fourth quarter clock gets under 12 minutes. So I just feel like that's like a price to perfection, and everybody's looking at those totals for Virginia and those other games. And I just don't think they get there. Otherwise I wouldn't bet it, but you never know. We'll find out when the clock reads 00, Sean.
Yep.
For sure. Fresno State will cover. Well, there you go, Sean. We'll skip a game and go to Fresno State for Drew. They're laying 30 points, I think. Yep, 30 points. You can go as much as 30.5 if you're on UNLV. I actually have them covering too, Sean, but Again, 30 points is just a number for me. That's a little bit too high, but I already know that you're going to give the 30 points because there's no way in hell you're taking UNLV.
No,
it's not your style.
UNLV, again, quarterback issues. Their offense is horrible. And Fresno State has an up and down offense that can really score. I mean, they just won the game last week against UCLA with like 40 seconds left. They went right down the field. So this should be an easy cover, and I use that darn E word. But if Fresno State puts up like 49 points, which they should, UNLV is not going to score more than 2 touchdowns. So this should be like a 49-10 game.
That's your call, 49-10?
Yeah.
Let's see what the call is on my side. So according to me, and this Las Vegas, Nevada game versus Fresno State, it should be about 45-15. That's right on the number. So I'm not going to play that game. And that would put the game slightly over the total of 58.5. So they're coming around 59 then. For me, it's not a play. 30 points is a lot. Not in college football, that's for damn sure. I mean, teams win by more than that all of the time. They're at home, which I think works to their benefit. So maybe that puts a point or two on there. I would lean Fresno State to cover the game, but I'm not going to give up 30 points. I'll let you and Drew go ahead and do that, Sean. Liberty and Syracuse. Sean, that's a number. It's a game that you have a liking into because you like all four. I don't like either team in this side. If I think a team's going to cover, I believe it would be Liberty laying the 6.5 to 7, depending upon the book that you're at. You can even go -6 at a book, so at -10. Syracuse, you can get as much as 7 points, Sean. What do you think? Does the road favorite beat the home dog?
Yeah, this is one. As soon as Monday morning came around, I looked at the lines. This stuck out right away. Liberty has a game-changing quarterback in Malik Willis. Their offense is really good. They've been really good and competitive with some of the top dogs the last couple of years. And Syracuse is not that. Their offense struggles. They won a couple games here, but last week it was Albany who they beat. I mean, they're not really playing anybody. So Liberty should win this game by a touchdown, at least. I say Liberty probably wins this game by 2 touchdowns.
By 2 touchdowns. Sean's calling his shot. Well, Liberty, according to this, according to the bets, 2/3 of the bets are on Liberty, but more than 55 cents on the dollar is taking Syracuse, the home dog, and the points. As far as the total is concerned, it's pretty much down the middle of the road. Looks like most people think this game is going to go over. I think Liberty probably wins by about 8 to 10 points, which would be a cover for them, but it's not enough of a differential for me to get involved in that spot either, Sean. So you like all 4 games. Just go ahead and run down your college football picks tonight in the 4, I would say, bigger games.
So I have Charlotte -3 at -105, Wake Forest +4 against Virginia, -110, Fresno -30 against UNLV. I don't know what the odds were on that. Probably something
-30, -110.
-110, and then Liberty -6.5 to Syracuse.
Actually, you can get -104, Sean. So I'll give you -104.
And then the Liberty one.
And the Liberty, you can get. You're going to lay 6.5 at -120, or you can lay 7 at -105.
No crap. -120.
You'll take -120 at 6.5 just in case they win by a touchdown.
Yeah.
Scared of the hook, are you? For me, I'm on the opposite side of that game with you. I'm on Middle Tennessee. I think they have a really good shot to actually win the game outright, but I'll take the points at I'll take the 3 points at -110. I'll do that all day long. And then I'm also in the on the under 70.5 in the Virginia Wake Forest game. A lot of books have it at 70, but at -70.5, it's at -105 for me, Sean. Those are my 2 plays. Drew likes Fresno State and says they will cover. I don't know how much he's good for, but that's what Drew has. So Drew and Sean are on the same side. We'll find out if that's an electric tandem, if that's Batman and Robin, or water and oil.
Yeah, Drew and I have hit that one before, so we're about 1-0 at least together. So
at least 1-0.
Yeah, at least, yeah.
At least, if not more. You guys are like undefeated. You're almost like the 72 Dolphins.
We only got 15 more to go.
Hey, what do you think about Montreal Alouettes versus the Toronto Argonauts? You want to do a little Canadian football?
I would have no idea. What's the spread on that?
Yeah, no, we're not going to do that. I would take the I don't know, the Tiger Cats. It's the only one I know up there. All right, so baseball, the battle of why do I keep want to say Pittsburgh, Philadelphia? I can't say Pennsylvania. Can't get the third P out in the Major League side of the schedule tonight, Sean. The Pirates got out to a good start last night, but I think then the Phillies came back and kind of put it to them, right?
Yeah, I mean, the Phillies offense finally showed up. Here again, I wouldn't trust the Phillies. Kyle Gibson again. You know, I've been away from Kyle Gibson, just the way he's pitching. They probably are not going to win this game. They should win this game. But
Well, I mean, the Phillies should win this game. What the hell? They're playing
yeah,
the Pirates.
we said that yesterday, and we saw that 5-0 score, and then Phillies finally woke up. No, I'm not doing anything with this game.
Yeah, I mean, that's maybe a parlay game. Almost 90 cents on the dollars back in Philadelphia. I'm not going to back Philadelphia. Texas and Baltimore. Woo! Yesterday I said that would be a hitter's delight. Sean was right. Somebody with a 24 ERA turned into Cy Young overnight. Unbelievable. They scored a combined 3 runs. I was thinking, well, I really meant hits. They're going to get over 9 hits. I don't even think they managed to do that. But anyway, this is the 1-800-HELP game. I don't need help today. I'm staying away.
Yeah, I feel like that should be a new rule when you see 2 bad pitchers pitching against each other and the over-under. Just go with the under because it seems to work all the time. Not one that ever makes sense to me, but it seems to work. I mean, maybe this is another one because I'm not doing it, but Spencer Howard and Alexander Wells, you would think there'd be a ton of runs, but you got that offense of the Rangers and the Orioles. So and now you're going to go over 9.5. So I'm passing.
Yeah. I'm passing too. The folks are about 50-50 on the game. It's understandable. Washington and Cincinnati. Boy, another one I was just spot on yesterday. Cincinnati should be able to beat Washington. But no, Washington rolls into the Queen City and beats them 3-0, just easy. Damn, 0-for-3 in baseball yesterday. So I hope they get that back up. Most of the money is backing Cincinnati again tonight. Sonny Gray should get this. It's in my range at -159. I feel like they should win the game. They have all the advantages, but Cincinnati seems uninspired right now.
Yep, they're on that list of they just don't care. They show up when they want to show up. So this is a pass for me because I don't want to go Washington either. What are the odds of Washington has another great pitching performance like that? When's the last time they had a shutout? I mean,
they probably haven't had one all year.
Yeah, so that's a pass.
Biggest game of the night, probably the Yankees and the Boston Red Sox going up to Fenway. You got Garrett Cole versus Eovaldi. The Yankees are a prohibitive favorite against Boston. Sean, you gonna fool around with this game at all?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Yankees. Just the pitching matchup number 1, Garrett Cole versus Eovaldi, who usually gets hit around a little bit. So I think. Although how it has to show up is the Yankees bats have to show up a little bit and they have to play better defensively. Their defense is horrible.
So you're taking the Yankees as an official?
Yes.
Wow. This is going to be the time you and I are on the second. I think it's the first time we're on. Well, no, this will be the second time we're on the opposite side of 2 things in the same day. This game's actually 50-50 in terms of the bets and the money. So it doesn't surprise me at all. But you're wrong about the pitching matchup, Sean. Completely wrong. I know you think you got Garrett Cole. He's 0-3 at Fenway with an ERA over 5. And you look at the squads that he's played against pretty regularly. The team, not that he just started against like once or twice, but the team that he has the most, like a lot of starts against, his worst ERA is against Boston. And then in Fenway, he's got an ERA over 5. So he hasn't pitched well in Boston. And then on top of that, Eovaldi, I know you say he likes to get hit around, but he's pitched against the Yankees plenty of times in his career, and he's got an ERA of only 2.87 against the Bronx Bombers. You could take the Yankees at -114. That's great. I'm going to take Boston at +108. Boston wins this game.
Yeah, we'll see. I would not have faith in Eovaldi, but like you said, he's had success against the Yankees. I don't have any
faith in Cole going up. He has not pitched well against Boston. Like there's always an Achilles heel. That's his. Well, maybe he reverts to the mean against everybody else, but
and not only that, I mean, you can't get much more bigger than this. I mean, we're just over a week away, and this is a game for these 2 teams they need. So you go to your strong pitcher, and he's supposed to show up. So we'll see what happens with Cole tonight.
Yeah, well, it's a 50-50 game in terms of money and tickets, but it's not 50-50 in terms of recency and home away recency for the Yankees in Boston. And certainly Boston has done a better job of scoring runs at home than the Yankees have on the road. I think the game and the pitching matchup, according to advanced metrics, is not. I mean, Cole does have a slight advantage. It's not as exploitable as you might think.
And the Red Sox are playing a lot better baseball than the Yankees right now, so I'll give you that.
White Sox and Cleveland. Justin Bieber returns to the mound against the Dylan Cease. I picked Dylan Cease, I think the last time he pitched, and he got lit up. I wonder if I'm sorry is going to come back and pitch well. I say that because I used to work in a retail store, Sean. I don't know if you've ever done this. And they have like that music on the loop.
Yep.
And that song came on like every 5 minutes. And I swear to you, I was ready to, like, when it came on, you better get away from me, because I was like the first customer that came up and like I was ready. Yeah! Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. That's what I feel about this game. I don't like it.
That's it. Huh?
I don't like it.
All right. Well, most of the money is on the White Sox. Most of the tickets are on the Guardians. I am not on this game either. Miami. Oh, hold on a second. Let's go to the next one. Kansas City and Detroit. You got Casey Mize pitching versus Hernandez. It looks on paper like, whoa, Casey Mize. But actually, this is not even close contest pitching matchup. Hernandez is far superior in terms of the advanced metrics, and that's why they're the favorite.
Yeah, and I'll take Kansas City here. I like when Carlos Hernandez is going. Mize some games is unhittable, and then other games he gives up runs. So it depends what Mize will show up. But Hernandez is more consistent. I'll take the consistency.
Drew's taking Tampa Bay -1.5. We'll get to that game in a moment. Yeah, I agree with you. I would probably take Kansas City, but I'm not going to take Kansas City. I've got enough nonsense today to deal with the Yankees in the and it looks to me like. But Detroit owns the home and road advantages in terms of runs scored and how well they play at home versus Kansas City on the road. It's a pass for me. So Drew likes Tampa Bay and Miami. It's a huge run differential here for sure, Drew. I think that Tampa Bay wins this game, probably wins this game by more than I'd say 1.5 is a good deal. On the 1.5 line, you're looking at, let's see, I got the totals line. Come on now. Of course, I got the wrong ones here. Baseball still got run lines. Let's go. Go ahead, Sean.
So with Tampa, I would say you probably are safe with -1.5, but I was waiting to see the odds as well. I see -130 on DraftKings. Actually, that's not really that bad.
-130. I love your line. 130 is not bad. You can find teams that just win that are probably going to win at better numbers.
Well, okay. So I took the Yankees at what, -114.
Which is a better number than -130, at least when I'm
It is, but do I feel more now that I see that? I feel more confident Tampa Bay winning by 2 runs than I do the Yankees.
So you're going to try to close in on the Miami Dolphins gap, 14 to go with this one?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Right.
I will take.
I feel bad for you. I feel really bad for you, Drew. I apologize right now.
I honestly thought that those odds were a lot lower. I mean, that's not bad.
Well, Tampa Bay, of course, has an enormous run line advantage. They have, I think, the biggest differential on the day. So they should win this game comfortably by at least 1, 2, 3 runs, maybe even look up a higher line. At -280, it's one of those stick them in a parlay, maybe with the Philadelphia Phillies, and see if you can catch 2 teams together with big minus lines and maybe work out a plus line. The Cardinals and the Cubs. Ooh, the Cardinals are hot. The Cubs are not. Every time I bet on the Cubs lose. If you're a Cardinals fan, you can throw a little bit of money my way on the PayPal, and I'll go ahead and take the Cubs tonight. Yeah,
well, this should be your parlay game here. I mean, -180 is not bad, and the Cardinals, like you said, the Cardinals are really hot going to the postseason here. Hopefully, they don't get all their wins now, and they'll be dead for the playoffs. But
well, that's how a lot of that works out. Sean.
Yeah,
they're peaking at the wrong time.
Yeah, exactly.
Had they peaked in a couple more days, then that would have been a different story because they're due to lose. I mean, you cannot win them all in baseball. Baseball is one of those streaky games. I would rather go into the playoffs muddling, maybe 6-4 than like 24-0 in the last 24 games because you're going to probably get swept.
I'm doing this on the fly, but and I'm going to make this official. Cardinals and Tampa together +112.
Cardinals and Tampa together for +112. Sean, you want to join him, Drew, so you can have a third? Let us know.
Yeah, it's your turn, Drew. I've been backing you. It's your turn to back me on this one.
Well, the Cardinals are taking in 80% of the tickets and only about 75% of the money. So there's a little bit of touching on the Cubs. I live in Chicago. The Cubs suck. I hate the Cubs. They're my favorite team, but they suck. New York Mets versus Milwaukee Brewers. The Milwaukee squad -134 against the New York Mets, another team that's probably walking through the rest of this year.
Yeah, I don't like this game at all. Milwaukee should win, but
Milwaukee's going to win, Sean.
They should, but they're just where they're at, and they're just ready for the postseason to start. So
yeah, but unlike St. Louis, I don't think you want to go into playoffs 0-24 either, and they're kind of struggling a little bit. So I think they kind of want to right the ship for maybe a couple of days and then start resting their players. But this is a pitching matchup. I know this Meagle kid has pitched fairly well for the Mets, but this is a pitching matchup that heavily, and I mean heavily, favors Milwaukee. To boot, the New York Mets are terrible against left-handed pitching, 17-32. That might be one of the worst teams in Major League Baseball when going against right-minded people. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Milwaukee Brewers -133 as my last official play of the day, Sean.
Yeah, I like it. I'll leave you do that solo.
Okay, thank you. Don't ruin my day. San Francisco against Colorado. I mean, Colorado is really good at home. Surprisingly, the Giants are one of the few teams in baseball that actually outperforms Colorado. On the road, they outperform Colorado at home, and they outscore what Colorado does at home. So actually, San Francisco should have the upper hand in this game. It might be another one of those parlay teams, Sean.
Yeah, it might, but it does concern me. They're such a big favorite into Colorado there, and you're getting Peter Lambert, who I don't know much about, so he could be one of those pitchers that San Fran don't know much about neither, and he could have a good game here.
Yeah, I'm not going to play the game, but San Francisco has all of the edges.
We gotta get to Drew's question here. This is actually a good one here. Tampa Bay Brewers or Tampa Bay Cardinals parlay?
Ooh, I mean, personally, I like the Brewers because I feel like that left-handed pitching matchup and that Mets record against the lefties has not been good at all. 17, as I mentioned. And then as far as advanced metrics are concerned, the advanced metrics are well into the favor of the Milwaukee pitcher, whereas the Cubs game is just a 7-inning game, right? They're playing right now.
Right.
So to me, I feel like a 7-inning game, the Cubs pitcher pitches well. Next thing you know, well, I mean, because if the bullpen gets in there, then yeah, for sure, the Cardinals win easy. But if somehow they get into Zach Davies gets into the 6th inning and the game is like 0-0, 1-0 Cubs, that to me is a little bit of a disadvantage. But that's probably why you're only getting -171 or so on St. Louis, because it's a 7-inning game. And Flaherty's been a really good pitcher all year long. So
this depends too. I would go with form, and the Cardinals are just winning every night at this point, and the Brewers are struggling. I would go with form and the matchup too. But I understand Rich's play too. You might be able to parlay all three of them.
Maybe go all three. That's the way to go. Why throw one out? I agree, Sean. All right, Toronto and Minnesota. I've personally started a winning streak for the Minnesota Twins by betting against them 3 nights in a row, and I've worn 3 L's in a row. The scarlet letter for gamblers, right? For degenerates, the letter L. I think Toronto wins again, but I'm not touching it. So that absolutely guarantees. Of course, there's an asterisk there, and there's nothing guaranteed, blah, 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 blah. But it guarantees Toronto wins. I'm just not going to put my money on them today.
Yeah, I'm not doing it either. Maybe Minnesota seems to be one of those teams that are enjoying those last couple weeks of baseball, and they're a young team, and they're starting to win some games. So
if you have that XL, the season's over. There's no pressure on them right now.
Yeah, and Toronto's got all the pressure. I mean, either Boston or the Yankees are going to win tonight, so they'll get one good with an L, and they'll get one with a W. So Toronto's got to keep pace and win.
Yes, indeed. The money is backing the Blue Jays. 3/4 of the tickets, 3/4 of the money. Rich is not on the Blue Jays tonight, so that absolutely means if you want to take the Blue Jays, go ahead and do it. Okay, is another one of my teams I can't do nothing with, Seattle and LA. Sean, I'll just throw it over to you because Seattle is in my it's in my discipline rules book. Do not play for or against Seattle.
Yeah, and I mean, they have been great as the underdog. Now they're the favorite. They're not really all that great as the favorite. And the Angels have just been struggling. Besides when I finally jump on that Houston bandwagon and then Houston, lets me down.
I told you that line looked fishy yesterday.
Yeah, it did. And I stayed away all 3 other games. As a matter of fact, I went the Angels twice. And, yeah, it's just a bad series for me.
So I guess that means the Angels win this one.
Maybe, but I'm not doing it. I'm
nor am I.
not doing it at all.
The money is 80% of the tickets are on Seattle, but only 60% of the money. So people are definitely saying Sean's off. I'm on the Angels tonight. It's their night. No doubt that the Dodgers win, right, against the Arizona. Tony Gonsolin versus Castellanos. Maybe the Dodgers are apart. Funny to me, though, I think minus 225 is suspiciously low, which is kind of like weird to say, but it is suspiciously low.
Yeah, it's weird how some of these games like this is minus 225, and then you got ones that are minus 340. I mean, what's the difference? I mean, this just looks like a complete mismatch. The pitching matchup even favors the Dodgers and everything. So, yeah, it does look a little low, and I'm just going to leave it alone.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they're daring you to say, like, look, we'll give you the Dodgers for a good price. It's a good price. Come on. Like when you're walking down Western Avenue in Chicago and the used car salesmen come out and they, hey, you see that car over there? You want it? It's only been in 3 floods. All right, so Houston and Oakland. This is a game I wanted to take Houston in because they have pretty strong advantages in terms of the power ranking and their ability to score runs on the road. And we've talked about Oakland's struggles to score some games, but that Montas-Greinke matchup favors Montas a lot. And Greinke is one of the few teams that looks like Oakland can actually hit.
Yeah, you have Greinke going?
That's what it says. I don't know. Maybe it's wrong.
Brandon Balik now. I don't know.
Maybe.
Who knows? But I will say Oakland is one of those teams that's just ready for the year to end. They're not hitting the ball at all. But I'm going to lay off Houston because Houston's my Seattle. So I'm just going to lay off it.
Well, that's why that's why when you look at that game, you have to stay away from them altogether. All right, Sean, last game of the night, Atlanta and San Diego. Go ahead. Which one do you like there?
Atlanta probably wins, but I'm going to stay away from it.
Atlanta wins that game. It's probably another one that you can put in the parlay, so to speak. That wraps up the picks for tonight, Sean. If folks want to, tomorrow morning, you want to get up really early. I'm kind of contemplating if we really want to do that, Sean.
Why?
Well, we're going to get back together in the evening and do the football. So why not just do one show and then we can put everything on Facebook? What do you think about that? Or do you want to get up and do it?
Totally your call. I mean, it's college football. I'm all for it.
Well, that's another reason why.
Yeah, that's why you don't want to. That's why you don't want to get out of bed. It's college football.
Yeah, it doesn't motivate me for sure. Drew, what do you think? Should we get up early in the morning or we should rest? What do you guys think? Let us know. For me, I can use a little bit of sleep now and then. I'm getting a little baggy-eyed. And as I said, when I go into the golf shops now, they're asking me if I get the senior discount. Tell me, what do you say? Tell me not to put any baseball and wait for football tomorrow. LOL.
That's probably the smart. Or play football tonight.
Yeah, Sean's hot on those college games.
I like these college games. I do.
When he has all that conviction in his voice, though, it makes me a little bit nervous. I like when he's a little bit more, little more humble. Like, yeah, I'm not really sure.
Yeah. Some reason, that is the case. Those ones that I'm like, yeah, I'll take this team, but I'm not 100% sure.
It's easy. It's a lock. I can't believe this line. I've been looking at it all week.
But the easy ones, I'm sweating on the couch, all 60 minutes and either win or lose.
For sure. I mean, every game like that is for me, Sean. All right, just to recap for me in baseball, I like Boston. Sean likes the Yankees, so we're opposite there. I like Milwaukee. Sean likes the Cardinals and Tampa Bay in some on-the-fly parlay. Anything else that you liked in baseball, Sean?
I have Kansas City over Detroit, and I also took Tampa Bay giving up a run and a half with Drew, minus 130.
Well, you're just spending all kinds of other people's money tonight, Sean. For sure.
Drew and I are going to cash and then load up for tomorrow.
Yeah, Drew, we'll be doing the NFL tomorrow night at about 9:30 Eastern time. So we'll put them out there. And so far, so good in the NFL plays in terms of the power ranking system that I put up on Moneyline Madmen and how to use it. I think the first week it was 10-6, if I remember correctly, Sean. And week 2, it was 11-5. It's off to a 1-0 start this week. So that's an article that's well worth reading. And then I put the power ranking numbers out there for you so you don't have to do anything but stick them in Excel and follow the instructions. And then you kind of put your own little twist on it and make things work out how you want them to work. I have minimums that I look for. But in any case, all right, Sean, that wraps up today's show. We'll be back. Sean and I will go over it. We might be back tomorrow morning. We might be back tomorrow night. We'll figure it out. Until we get back. till we get back together again, may all your bets be winner, folks. We'll see you tomorrow, 100% for sure, to talk about the NFL.